Milton Friedman, an economist, famously declared that the best way to grow rapidly is to have the country bombarded. The Japanese post-war economy succeeded despite it being difficult to conceive a nation prospering after such destruction. Despite having virtually nothing left behind from World War II, Japan's economy rebuilt very quickly. This is the Japanese economic miracle. It's coming up in the world. Japan's economy is among the world's biggest and most advanced. Its vast, affluent population and well-educated, hard-working workforce make it one of the largest consumer marketplaces in the entire globe. It ranks second in the world from 1968 until 2010, when China surpassed it. With a GDP per capita of little less than 43,000 USD in 2019, its 130 million inhabitants enjoy a good level of living. Japan is on the up and up. Its economic growth has been particularly notable and well known internationally for its manufacturing sector. Japan is currently the world leader in the production of machinery, cars, and electronics. Nevertheless, China, the Republic of Korea, and other industrial economies have gained some competitive edge over Japan in the manufacturing industry in the past few decades. Japanese businesses have somewhat resisted this pattern by moving their manufacturing operations to less expensive nations. With its contribution to GDP of about 75%, Japan's service sector, including financial services, now contributes a considerably larger part of the country's economy. The Tokyo Stock Exchange is one of the globe's major centers of finance. If you like this video so far, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Between 1945 and 1991, Japan's economy grew quickly and steadily. During the interlude between the conclusion of the Cold War and the post-World War II era, the real growth rate was positive until 1973 and rose for 20 years in a row. Japan's economy was expanding at an all-time high rate in less than a 10-year period. Seems they live up to expectations. Its extremely quick growth was made possible by four key factors: advances in technology, capital accumulation, the availability of more and better workers, and a surge in global trade. Japan was able to harness these factors and rise to the third position in the world's economy through strategic planning and collaboration between individuals, businesses, and the government. Seems like nothing succeeds like success, right? What is outstanding though is that Japanese economic growth and development persisted until the 1990s, in spite of having been compelled by the Nixon and Reagan administrations to make rash corrections to the nation's fundamental monetary conditions. These changes ultimately caused the value of the yen to increase threefold on the international exchange market. The Japanese economy prospered in the face of increased energy and petroleum costs, worldwide inflation, organized financial crises, a generalized economic downturn, and the perplexing phenomenon of stagflation in many of the more developed capitalist nations of the West. Japan's economy rose from 1968 to 2010 to become the second largest in the world in terms of nominal gross domestic product, while having a comparatively small population. Tragically, Japan's economic decline from second to third place followed the triple disaster of March 11, 2011, which included an earthquake and tsunami that slammed northeastern Japan's Pacific coast, resulting in a nuclear accident. Japan's industrial capacity has been reduced by nearly 25% after the war, leaving it with a capital stock that was overrepresented and useless. This fueled Japan's voracious ambition to start again and develop by enabling it to adopt a plethora of new technologies without having to wait for assets to fully depreciate. The number of contracts signed to import new technology increased drastically, with the majority of these contracts being in sectors with exceptionally high rates of expansion, such as chemical engineering and motor manufacturing. Japan is currently the world leader in patents for renewable energy, demonstrating its long history of green innovation. It is believed that this previous achievement will serve as a catalyst for more breakthroughs in the future. They're making a comeback. In addition, a number of government initiatives supporting these technological advancements were put into place. Initially, the government employed an aggressive expansionary monetary strategy to generate cheap money, thus providing low-cost funding for expanding sectors. Corporate enterprises were over-borrowing while banks were over-lending due to the strict and vigilant monitoring of interest rates, which were kept modest. Additionally, the government incentivized expanding companies with significant tax breaks and depreciation policies. Larger, faster-growing organizations also paid fewer taxes than smaller, slower-growing companies. The partial tax exemption of interest and dividend income also helped to bring down the rate of personal income taxes. Such policies actually bear fruit. With the largest amount of financing acquired in the market's history and a few mega deals hitting a size never before witnessed in Japan's startup ecosystem, 2021 was an additional record-breaking year for Japanese startups. The amount of funding raised by Japanese startups jumped by 46% in 2021 to around $7.1 billion. Unprecedented monetary easing in the US has certainly helped this growth, attracting foreign investors and improving the exit climate for Japanese startups. However, startups' increasingly creative capital strategies also played a role. New technologies were heavily inspired by and influenced by other nations, and Japan started importing massive amounts of commodities from other nations. For instance, foreign generators were modified to increase the effectiveness of the electric utility sector, while imported machine tools and robotics found widespread application in the automotive industry. To make foreign concepts and knowledge more accessible, the Japan Information Center for Science and Technology generated 210,000 abstracts of scientific publications published abroad in 1963. Additionally, the Japanese upgraded the new technologies they imported. They have made inroads. In contrast to the first part of the 20th century, Japan is using soft power rather than force to increase its influence in Southeast Asia. In the real world, Japan's soft power approach is known as Cool Japan. The goal of the Japanese government's new country branding strategy, which started in the 1980s, is to promote Japanese culture, language, food, and goods globally. The television series Oshin, which was well received by more than 45 nations around the world, was first released outside of Japan for free as part of the policy. Seems Japan is making a killing with its soft power. The Cool Japan tactic proved effective. Japanese culture is now clearly identifiable through contemporary fads like manga, anime, and the adorable phenomenon of Hello Kitty. It ranks 7th among the top countries with soft power in 2016. In fact, nations that rank well in soft power are able to exert influence through networking and communication, and they are also very good at persuading people to do what they want without using force or coercion. It is a strong soft power presence, particularly in Southeast Asia. Only 26.8% of Southeast Asians, according to research by the ASEAN Studies Center, would trust China to do the right thing, while 54.2% would rather trust Japan. Additionally, 6 of the 10 ASEAN nations continue to rank Japan as their most popular tourism destination. Japan is ahead of the pack. In Vietnamese culture, owls are seen to be unlucky. Its hoot forewarns of impending illness or perhaps death for someone close. Like other carriers of bad news, their astute advice to organize one's affairs is frequently disregarded. In many ways, Japan has been East Asia's owl, not the least of which being its aging and dwindling population. Japan has already seen a great deal of the negative effects of population decrease. In addition to its security measures, the Japanese government has made greater efforts to fortify alliance ties, create institutions, promote a rules-based international order, and steer clear of confrontation. Alongside these fruitful endeavours have come disappointments in advancing immigration, economic creativity, and gender equality. It had decades of economic stagnation while other regions saw growth. With at least 21% of the population over 65, Japan is the first hyper-aged nation in the entire globe. By 2050, estimates indicate 40% of the population will be past retirement age. Alarm bells start to ring. Increased longevity and dropping birth rates, which have been lowering in Japan since 2011, lead to aging populations. Likewise, the owl, the fact that the Japanese government was unable to stem the population catastrophe despite demographers in Japan predicting a crisis since the late 1970s, should have served as a dire warning to other East Asian countries whose populations are falling much faster than Japan's. Its fertility rate as of 2023 was 1.367, a significant decrease below the replacement level of 2.1 children per woman required for population stability. Due to a flurry of large spending packages and skyrocketing social welfare expenses associated with an aging population, Japan's debt pile has grown to 263% of GDP, double the US ratio and the highest among major nations. As a consequence, in 2022, Japan spent more than 15% of its year budget on public works, education, and defense combined, 22% of which went for debt redemption and interest payments. Japanese debt is asking for trouble. According to government projections released recently, the ratio may reach 25% in fiscal 2025 under revised calculations that take into account recent increases in long-term interest rates. And yet, efforts to increase its defense spending and payments to families with children only serve to lengthen the government's wish list for expenditures. Japan starts the new year with structural as well as cyclical issues. Its cyclical problems include labour market tensions and inefficiencies in the global supply chain, which keep pushing the country's economy lower as it tries to recover from the global recession. Live to fight another day, Japan. 3 decades of economic recession linked to the 1990 burst of several asset bubbles and a declining birth rate, which resulted in a labour shortage and an unfavourable dependence ratio, are linked to structural difficulties. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons to receive more content. See you in the next video.